Okay, get this. Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. It's a pretty striking phrase, right? Let's dive straight into this. That isn't a line from some dystopian sci-fi script, and it's not from a tech regulator either. These are the deliberately provocative words recently spoken by Pope Leo XIV. And honestly, they're designed to do exactly what they just did to you. Grab our attention, wake up our consciences, and force us to take a hard, critical look at the digital tools we are using every single day.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating topic, the disarmament of artificial intelligence. I'm going to be walking you through the heavy philosophical implications of actually comparing modern software algorithms to global weapons. It's a bold framework for sure, but it offers us a completely fresh lens to view our technological future. Because let's face it, AI is woven into the very fabric of our lives now. It's in the systems approving our mortgages, the algorithms curating our news feeds, and yes, the software utilized in modern warfare. So figuring out how to manage that immense power isn't just some abstract academic debate, it's arguably the single most critical conversation we could be having right now.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the disarmament of AI.
When we normally hear the word disarmament, we immediately picture, global militaries, massive stockpiles of weapons, and peace treaties. The Pope totally acknowledges that using this specific word for artificial intelligence is incredibly strong. But it isn't just for shock value. The intent behind this rhetoric is actually highly calculated. He's arguing that we need words capable of waking up our consciences and indicating clear paths forward for humanity. It's a direct attempt to just shake us right out of our technological complacency. We so often view AI as just a handy convenience, something that writes our emails a bit faster or gives us better search results. But framing it in terms of disarmament, well, that forces us to recognize the unchecked power accumulating behind these systems, and it actively guides us toward a much more intentional, responsible future.
Moving on to Section 2, AI and nuclear energy. So why on earth would the head of the Catholic Church directly compare artificial intelligence, the invisible code running quietly on our phones, to nuclear energy and nuclear weapons? Well, it's because both share a profound dual nature. On the one hand, they have this immense potential to be at the service of the common good. Think about the incredible upsides we're already seeing. AI is accelerating medical research, it's mapping proteins to help cure complex diseases, and it's even optimizing clean energy grids to fight climate change. But on the exact flip side of that coin, without public control, they pose a severe risk of becoming instruments of domination and death. It's literally the exact same inflection point humanity faced at the dawn of the atomic age, where a tool of immense energy could either power a city or level it to the ground.
The pontiff maintains that just as the nuclear arms race demanded strict public control and oversight, artificial intelligence now urgently demands to be disarmed. It must be actively freed from three extremely dangerous logics: domination, exclusion, and death. Let's break down what that actually means in the real world. Freeing AI from domination means pushing back against mass surveillance systems and data harvesting that allow a handful of corporations or governments to control vast populations. Freeing it from exclusion, that means tackling the severe algorithmic bias that is quietly denying people jobs, housing, or fair treatment in the justice system simply because of flawed training data. And freeing it from death means confronting the truly terrifying reality of lethal autonomous weapons. Drone swarms and targeting systems that can take human life without any human oversight whatsoever.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Magnifica Humanitas.
We're shifting the narrative here from a broad global warning to a highly structured philosophical doctrine. That specific framework is an encyclical letter titled Magnifica Humanitas. Basically, this document is the official vessel outlining the Church's social doctrine specifically tailored for the age of artificial intelligence. It represents a truly fascinating bridge between ancient moral philosophy and our 21st century technological dilemmas. How does an institution steeped in thousands of years of human history tackle something like neural networks or large language models? By returning to first principles about human dignity and making sure that as our tools evolve at this absolute breakneck pace, our core human values don't get left behind in the dust.
Listen, if you take away just one central thesis from this entire document, make it this: decisions on technology must never be separated from conscience and responsibility. For decades now, the dominant philosophy in the tech industry has been move fast and break things, right? The primary question has almost always been, can we build this, rather than should we build this? This text absolutely insists that as we build faster, smarter, and more capable systems, our human ethical responsibilities have to scale right alongside them. We simply cannot outsource our morality to a machine. Technological advancement cannot be allowed to outpace our human framework of conscience.
All right, Section 4, Staying Awake. Let's bring this high-level global policy discussion all the way down to the individual level, our daily moment-to-moment interactions with our screens. To vividly illustrate this, the encyclical draws on an ancient admonition from the Apostle Paul. Let us not sleep as others do, but let us stay awake. This is a direct challenge to all of us. Are we simply sleepwalking through our digital lives, just letting algorithms take the wheel? It asks us to deeply reflect on our own passive reliance on modern tech. Think about it. Every single time we autoplay the next video or let a curated feed totally dictate our mood and our worldview for the day, we are, in a very real sense, falling asleep at the wheel of our own minds.
The Pope connects this ancient wisdom squarely to our present moment, stressing that this exact vigilance is absolutely necessary today. Blindly consuming AI-generated content is just no longer a safe option. Think about the infinite doom scrolling, the algorithmic echo chambers that constantly feed us outrage just to keep our attention, or letting platforms entirely shape our reality without any active pushback from us. When we operate on autopilot, we become incredibly easy to manipulate. We have to maintain our conscious awareness. Staying awake digitally requires active, daily effort. It means questioning the source of our information, recognizing when an algorithm is actively trying to hijack our attention, and firmly reclaiming our own agency.
And finally, Section 5, Peace and Danger.
This brings us to the ultimate macro-level threat against global peace. But to fully grasp this threat, we first have to understand how the encyclical actually defines peace. It is not merely the absence of war. Instead, it's defined as justice in action. I really want to emphasize that point. It's a highly active, justice-driven state. It requires participation, deep awareness, and constant effort. It isn't just quiet compliance or two nations temporarily pausing a conflict. Real peace means actively building a fair society, which inherently requires clear-headed, engaged, and thoughtful citizens capable of pursuing that justice.
Which leads us to the encyclical's most urgent warning of all. When technology weakens our critical sense, peace itself is in danger. The logic mapped out here is profound, and it connects everything we've just been talking about. If we allowed artificial intelligence to do our thinking for us, if we use it to write our messages, curate our news, and shape our opinions, we slowly lose the mental muscle required to critically evaluate information and make independent moral judgments. And if we lose that critical sense, we completely undermine the very foundation required to maintain that justice in action. A society that can no longer think for itself is a society that simply cannot maintain peace.
And that leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question. If technology weakens our critical sense, how will we save peace? It's a lingering thought that should really stick with you long after this explainer ends. It challenges every single one of us to deeply examine our own daily relationship with artificial intelligence. Are we using these incredible tools to enhance our humanity and promote the common good, or are we just letting them disarm our own minds? The choice ultimately is still ours. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating source material. Keep questioning, keep learning, and as always, let's stay awake.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.